Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation.
What is up? Let's try this again. I don't know if this is it still, we're having some technical difficulties over here. We had a little bit of a storm. The storm passed. I'm not sure if the reception's better though. Let's take a look. Again, welcome to Truth and Transparency. Thank you guys for being here. The whiteboard is making an appearance. I mean, it's already totally marked up. So, what is it? Mods, members, subscribers, newbies, all those good things. Let's ask Mod Squad here. How is the sound and reception? Much better? God, I hope so. Whew. Okay. Lord. All right. We're just going to hop right into it because there was that delay earlier. So I named it after a baseball game here. This is your rain delay. We're back at it. A lot of people have been asking about... And rightfully so, how does a guy go, allegedly from just living a simple life, never getting in trouble with the law? Do you think that Richard Allen could possibly be a serial killer? Has he killed before? I mean, how does this happen? I don't have the answers for that. I mean, none of us do until it all happens. But what I was able to at least do is give you guys a little bit of food for thought on, it's 2012 of Iowa. Similar situation with a double homicide. In terms of that, I didn't go and dig into every aspect of that case or anything like that. All I did is I went and just looked at some logistics in terms of, did Richard Allen, know people from that area? Could he have ever been in that area? Stuff like that. And I'll give you a little bit of my piece of information with that. And that'll be the first thing that I talk about. Oh, actually right behind me, as well as are there links? So how I do something is it's black and white. You eliminate things that aren't possible. You keep things that can be possible. with that being said, I do want to say hi to Maple Beeve, beautiful as ever in your pic. Susan, Mod Squad, beautiful as ever with your mug. Want to say thank you to Midge and Nancy. They actually bought 10 memberships for, 10 lucky winners, 1 memberships. Congrats. Bumblebee, Ashley, Glenn, Dolly, Nikki, I'm glad that you could catch a live too. Floydie. I need to do another live so I can have Floydie up here. Oh, look at my girl Tasha in here. There she is. I got some Ohio peeps in here. I love it. All right. All right, let's do this. How do I donate memberships? That's all Mod Squad. Mod Squad, could you write that to her in the comment section? You have to just, there's like 3 buttons, 3 little dots you have to click on, and you have to say that you want to accept a membership. If you accept memberships, that means you can give memberships, I believe. Yeah, so. Okay. You guys aren't going to be able to read all of this, and I'll make it bigger here. So, on where Alan lived, 1967, on that same street, 2006, when he moved out of that street. I'm going to make this bigger for you guys. That's not glare. Oh boy. Kara. Cody Patty was their neighbor. Okay. He was their neighbor for, I'm trying not to dox anybody here. Oh, I thought I went through this to make sure there was no. Okay. All right, so yeah, when the Allens moved into their home, 2006, Cody Patty was doing the same thing. He was moving in. He lived with 2 other people, a guy and a girl. Obviously, Alan moved in with his family. That was 2006. They were there roughly between 7 months and a year and 7 months. Now, they were both drinkers, meaning Alan and Cody Pat. They were both drinkers. They hit the pub up, I don't know. I think that's extensive, 3 to 4 times to do it. Why not just drink at home, hang out with their family? But according to news outlets, they would hit up a couple of different locations that had, restaurants, pubs, stuff like that. And between 2 and 4 times a week. That's a smaller street, 4 or 5 houses away. They were just on opposite sides. And is it possible that Cody Patty, who is the uncle of Libby, is it possible for Richard Allen back in the day? This is people just moving in. They weren't living in Delphi before. So the first people that you go and hang out with, or that you at least meet and you converse with, I'm sure that they knew people, but you got your neighbors. Neighbors know everything about you, if you think about it. They know when you normally leave your house. They know when you normally come back. If you have kids, are you outside a lot? Do they see you often? Things like that. If you're having people over, having beers outside, and your neighbors are social and they like to do that type of thing. So was this actually a really interesting opportunity for someone like Richard Allen to meet new people right off the rip? And then once you meet those people, oh yeah, hey, we're going to go throw darts, or we're going to go play pool. And he was a big pool player. So I think it's very possible that they would have crossed paths. Now, does that mean anything? Well, Sure, it means a couple things. It means a couple things in terms of, was Richard Allen a stranger? Is he just a complete stranger? If you've noticed, nobody on any of the outlets has said, oh my God, like, I've never met this man. I don't know who he is. There's been no talks about that. No one has said a word about anything like that. In fact, I think they've kind of kept it, quiet. So yeah, just the connection there. I don't think it necessarily has to be like that they were neighbors for an extended period of time. It just has to be like, was there an opportunity to pass each other? Yeah, there's a great opportunity that would happen. You were neighbors. So that's all. That's all that it is. And seeing that both people like to drink and hang out and kick it and be social. I mean, if someone's on a pool league or darts and stuff like that, like those aren't introverted people necessarily. I mean, they at least have enough to go out of the house. So I definitely think that their paths would have crossed. Plus, it would have been so early on to then, are you then hanging out with, oh, hey, you come and hang out with, a bunch of our buddies. But again, could that have happened? No. And yes, it's just, is it plausible? Yes. Does this mean that the family has anything to do with it? Absolutely not. It just simply means that if you're talking about somebody that would ever do something like this and was fixated on younger children, do the math and see how old Libby would have been, and then do your math over time. I'm not going to sit here and do that. You guys can do all that. There's only 3,000 people in the town. Alan's background, shaky up until CVS days. So really, what was he doing? And for the most part, that's how a lot of that town is. People work small businesses. People work for their families, farming, stuff like that. But now, for those of you guys that think, could Richard Allen be some serial killer? Sure, he could. So what I went ahead and did is I looked at how would that be possible? Why would he be in, Iowa at that time? Or maybe could he possibly make frequent visits? And I was able to find a connection that he could. And it was in terms of his... Let me grab the right piece of paper I want to use. I believe that the people, if this does involve some extensive ring of child pornography, that this involves people that know tech. They're able to program, like IT people. That's not my forte. But definitely when you're talking about all these people having certain, creating certain email addresses, getting online, creating like these, fake accounts. Why would you want to have all these paper trails? Like, it's a digital footprint. Why would you want that? I know I wouldn't want that. People don't even want it nowadays. It's just they don't want the government following them. Whatever. But if you take the Klein interview and he talks about VPNs, and it's just like, well, yeah, you know about a VPN, so how did you get caught with the Anthony Shots account in the first place? Things like that. So I thought it was interesting. Like I said, I have a book for everybody, each person, and it would tie into Richard Allen's sister husband, and the associates. He's a tech guy. He lived with his cousin. His cousin is a tech guy. His cousin went to Purdue, did graduate school in Purdue as well to advance his, career. And one of his main associates was a huge financial person slash programmer analyst. And lo and behold, they have ties to Des Moines, as well as Urbanville. I think that's what it's called. So it's about like an hour and 50 minutes away from where the double murder happened in 2012. And they had a working address from 2000 to 2013. They also had a working address in Lafayette. Again, this is Richard Allen's sister. So it's like his brother-in-law. And then if you think about it, you kick it with your brother-in-law, or hopefully you do. Hopefully you have good family relationships. But I'm saying if you want to talk about a tie and why he would ever be in that area or possibly in that area, driving through that area, there is some ties there. And then interesting enough, when they came back to the Indiana area after school and stuff like that, the roommate of Richard Allen's brother-in-law, one of his main associates, so his cousin is one of his main associates. When he went to college, his main person, both of them in the summers, he was working at Delphi with mechanics. Well, we know that Klein does that stuff. He would come home in the summers. Again, all I'm giving you guys is how the lines could cross and where people in a small town, if you're doing similar stuff, that's how paths cross. But interesting enough, 6 months after the murders, the Delphi murders, these known associates, which is Richard Allen's brother-in-law, his cousin and main friend, they moved in January of 2018, they get out and they go to Washington. Again, those are tech people. Did a lot of job bouncing around, kept climbing up, very smart people. Those two are. So, again, computer programming, things like that, and ties to driving through the area to get, if you're going to go be visiting people in college, then grad school, and then staying out there to do work. Because a lot of Richard Allen's past is a mystery right now. It won't be, but... So again, I was just digging deep into Richard Allen in terms of people were emailing me about being a serial killer. Well, sure. I think whoever killed Libby and Abby are not right. So whatever name you want to call them, killers is just great with me. But in terms of how was Richard Allen arrested? How does that come about? People say, oh, somebody ratted, somebody did this, somebody did that. Okay, so everything, in my opinion, goes back to the Anthony Schatz account. You cannot sit here and tell me that you're going to overlook that coincidence of messaging with the Anthony Schatz account. Indiana says when they interview Klein that this has divulged into one of the biggest, if not the biggest, child rings that they've ever had in the state. So all of these things, and Libby and Abby are murdered on that day that, there was contact made. And I believe it was multiple times. Well, let's just go with if it was just the 8 o'clock in the morning. So, those dots are, again, Richard Allen's sister, the brother-in-law. The brother-in-law they were living with Jared, who's the cousin. That's his main associate. His main associate is Donald. Back in the day, an Iowa address, went to school out there. Also then went to Purdue to further education. Lived in West Lafayette and Lafayette. And I thought it was very interesting that right after the homicides in Delphi, they got out of town and went to Washington. Just kind of like how Klein was talking about getting out of town and going to, Oregon or whatever the hell he was talking about, going. Now, the other thing that's interesting about that, if you guys have been following this case, is that there was a lot of rumors because somebody called in a tip that they're about that car that was found, or this alleged car. If you've seen this car, I did some digging, and I think I know why that car became a point of interest. Let me grab my right sheet here. I got like 70 sheets. Boston, you're shopping? What are you buying me? Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Also, a lot of these people like to roll with P.O. boxes. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's everybody seems like they're rolling with it. It should also be known that Carl, the brother-in-law of Richard Allen, for whatever reason, he uses this Haley email. I was able to track down this back to actually a person from the area, a vet assistant, and, friends with Abby's mom on social media. So there are ties. Again, that would be Anna is friends with Haley on social media through Facebook. Haley is Richard Allen's sister and brother-in-law's friend. Now going back to this car. So you guys have heard me talk about Dirk Hayes. He's the one that Keegan Klein keeps talking about in his interrogation, where he's like, oh yeah, Dirk had my phone. He lived next door to my dad, all that stuff. That's who Dirk. He also then talked about that Dirk was a dad. He's a great dad. And I believe that he is. Any guy that steps up and has his kids, absolutely, you're a great dad. Right? I think just that, being there, being present. But he makes a comment about the girl, meaning the mom of the two kids. And that basically she just was into other things. I was curious about that, so I started looking into that. As well as I was curious about the car. There was a tip that somebody had temporary plates on, and it ended up being, and coming back, that it was a stolen vehicle. Well, check this out. Again, I have no idea if it's connected, but I can at least just give you these facts. All right. In March of 2017, on March 12th, this is wild. On March 12th, 2017, Dirk Hayes' baby mama is arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle on 3/12/2017. So literally like a month after the murders. And after Keegan's house was raided, his dad's on Canal. In Oregon, gets picked up, possession of a stolen vehicle, unauthorized use of a vehicle. Again, this is what the charge was. And then August 28th, dismissed. Those are felony Class C's, both of them dismissed. August 28th, 2017. This is the tip that came in for some, what do you want to call them? Paper plates, they call them, temporary tags. Well, don't know if the car was driven up out of, Indiana and they went to Oregon, but a month later, cars picked up, arrested and dismissed. Both charges were dismissed. On this person who is the baby mama of Dirk Hayes, who is the neighbor of Keegan, and his dad, and who Keegan mentions over and over and over in his interviews, saying that he had access to his phone because they were talking about Anthony shots. So again, no idea if it's connected, but boy, is that crazy. Do you guys need me to repeat any of that stuff? I'm trying to go as slow as possible, but I always look at it that you guys can just rewind. Hello to all the people popping back in from the first original live. Now, I said it earlier, just because just because you're involved in something doesn't mean you're involved in another thing. If you stole something, that doesn't mean you're going to go and kill somebody. If you do drugs, sell drugs, whatever, that doesn't mean you're going to go and kill two girls. So I think that a lot of people with this small town, people that were doing things that were not legal, you get scared and you're hiding your own wrongdoings. So therefore you're not being honest with the police because you don't want to get in trouble. So you're not telling them, you're not basically telling on yourself because it'll get you in trouble. Kind of like Ron Logan. Ron Logan, he knew probation violation. I'm going to prison. Okay. That's why he lied. Who wants to go to prison? Nobody. Good. As long as Maud loves her subs, then we're all good. Great. So again, huge thing, people that follow the Delphi case, if you know what I'm talking about these plates, it was a tip that came in and people picked up this girl's daughter. I'm not going to go all into it crazy, but a couple different times they're looking for cars and stuff like that. If you've seen, if you had your car and it was at this lot, I think it was 2000. When was it? Was that the 2019 presser? I'd have to go back and check. I got all these dates going on. So the reason that I think it could be connected is because the baby mama that was Dirk's baby mama was caught. They were going back and forth from Indiana to Oregon. So it's kind of like what Keegan was doing. You guys have seen his Facebook, right? He's putting like weed on his Facebook and just showing, just being an idiot. Let's go back to, again, going down the Allen tree line. I'm going to pull this up. All of this area down here, I'm going to highlight it. I'm telling you, they're all like, they're all IT people. The associates, the brother-in-law chain. A lot of people are using a lot of addresses in this town. I don't know if they move around a lot. I don't know if they get mail at everybody's house. But it was interesting, you know, at first you think that it's interesting, and then you have to think, okay, this is a small town. This is a town that, like, you know, your families, even if you're not blood family, you're like your family through, you know, helping raise people's kids and stuff like that. So, you know, somebody, oh, that's like a dad to me, but that's not really my dad type of thing. That's, you know, you have a lot of that going on. I think it's been mentioned before, but I don't believe that the prosecutor was ever going to be able to prosecute this case, even if it was to stay in Carroll County, due to the, you know, Nick McClellan, he has ties to Libby German's dad and that side of the family. I think that would have been hard to... I can just tell you this. Alan's lawyer, I mean, how are they not going to argue that there's no way that it's a conflict of interest? So I believe that this case was being moved regardless of whatever the judge wrote, by the way. I don't know if I made that known, but yeah, your DA, your prosecutor, Slick back hair guy that talks at the presser. Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's 3,000 people there. I went to high school with 2,000 people. People are going to know people. People are going to be related to people. I think that does, you know, cause for pause that, yeah, this probably shouldn't be even in Carroll County once, you know, this would happen to get to the point of an arrest and a trial. Not sure if people know that, but people should know that. Again, it's just depending if you've been following this case and how long you've been following this case. And, you know, you got your deep divers out there that are going to give you the family trees of everybody. And I'm cool with that as long as you don't throw in, like, rumors. So... What is up, Jeremiah? Yeah, Indiana does have, it's one of the most, if not it'd be number one that involves, like, human sex trafficking, not good things with children. So... let's get back to let's go on over to, we're going to start with Abby's side first because something that really broke my heart, and I recommend listening to that interview. I'll actually put it on a video. The interview that Cliff, her grandfather, did about, I can actually probably play it right now, but I'd rather just make a video about it. So, Abby's grandfather lived in Michigan. That's where Abby's mom is from, and she's from Michigan. Abby's mom has, you know, been in a couple different states, moving around and stuff. You know, Abby's mom had her, Anna, at a very young age. I couldn't imagine, you know, raising a kid at 19. So anybody that that, does that, I give them a ton of credit. Huge sacrifices. I mean, I know back in the day, a lot of people did that. Like they were having babies at 21, like our parents and things like that. But couldn't have been easy. But that's why, both of these two girls, they called themselves like best friends. But outside of them being best friends, Abby's best friend was Cliff Williams, which was her grandfather. And her grandfather that weekend, she wanted him to drive, from Michigan, come on down and take her shopping to get, stuff for the upcoming softball season. And when he came in town, they stayed at a hotel, got to hang with Grandpa and watch movies and, just hang out, do grandpa, granddaughter things. So Abby's grandmother, which would be her mom's mom, she remarried, and she remarried a guy that was from Michigan as well. They all ended up in Delphi. The gentleman owns other property, but when that family merged in terms of Abby's mom, her grandmother, when her grandmother remarried, there was step brothers and sisters then that became, Anna's Abby's mom, that became her, step brother and sister. They lived together. They were all around the same age, anywhere between 28 at the time, 33 to 40. So like these people around my age. Can't believe I'm 40, getting up there. And there's nothing wrong with it. It takes an army or a village to raise, kids. But I think that both Abby and Libby had help from their extended family. As you know, Libby lived in the residence where her grandparents lived. Her grandparents, though, they seem to own a lot of property. The latest being where she was living at the time of her death. $880,000 piece of property that when they bought it. But yeah, so you got a lot of family help. Nothing wrong with that. Small town, that's how it is. You got blood, non-related people helping raise people. It is what it is. And I think that right there, though, is the reason that this is so awful. Because you have a community raising a community together. And so with these two little girls, middle schoolers, people that were, like I said, just the community is like family. So anybody to hurt somebody's children, and do it where you live in the community that you love, that's, I think, the biggest shock for the town. I think it's just as shocking as when you hear about a child, like kids being shot at school by classmates. But I think to know that, adults doing something to hurt little girls, were they targeted? Were they not? It's just sad. It's really sad. And it's a community, and you're just, but now you have to ask yourself, Richard Allen, he moved in to the community in 2006, and this happened in 2017. So really, is he this, I'm Delphi? And my answer to that is, I'm sorry, but it wasn't like he grew up there, his family. I can't wait for a little bit more information to come out if it ever does. That's going to require people to talk, though. people do interviews and stuff like that. So yes, as far as Abby goes, she called her grandfather her best friend. He called her best friend, and I'm gonna have that on a video. I want you guys to see it. It's actually heartbreaking. It's super sad. Now it ended up coming out that Abby's father wasn't originally who they thought. I'm not getting into all that. Some stuff should be private because that's where it belongs. To me, it's not about digging into people's families, and they're victims. I believe all of Delphi is a victim with this. That community, this is going to rock you to the core, And I think it was, both of these moms. So then Abby's family really is not in the limelight with any of the media stuff. The people that you're normally seeing in the media, that's going to be Libby's grandparents. It's actually the grandfather, Mike, he's actually her step grandfather. But that's the people that you really see in the media. Her grandmother, Becky, she went through, cancer treatments after the murders. So if it's not bad enough and tragic, then you're fighting cancer. I mean, it's just unreal. Yes, absolutely. So much pressure to solve this. So you got Abby saying her grandfather's her best friend. Well, guess what Libby's saying? Her mom, just like, hopefully you have that relationship one day with your mom. But her mom, Libby's mom's like, that's my best friend. And they had talked that morning. They talked a lot on the phone. She didn't live that close. Didn't live that far either, though. And again, you got grandparents stepping up. You got, I don't think enough credit goes to people that are parents and they have to make that decision to say, like, yeah, you're like, you need to be with grandma, grandpa. Like, you're going to have, like, I mean, it's better for you. Even though how hard that would be to say as a parent because you'd want your kid all the time, right? If you actually see them doing interviews, her mom, Libby, looks just like her mom. And when I was going through these, interviews, it was heartbreaking to see. I mean, you're like, wow, it looks just like her. That's what Libby would have looked like. And she had, a wonderful interview that she did recently when she was saying that, so many more questions than, you don't know how you're going to feel. Here you make an arrest. Well, I have way more questions than I ever had before. And that's why the live that got cut off, I was saying that I believe that they should see through to do this to a trial for the families. And I know people think that that's a weird concept, but it's not. Because if you're going to have questions the rest of your life if you don't have a trial. Because if they try to plea and do a plea deal, then you're not going to know about anything. And if there's days that you want to step out of the courtroom, you step out. But I would want to know what happened because I would want to make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else. And I think that that's closure that you need, and that's like a funeral. When you go to a funeral, people feel like that's closure that, that people need. I think trials give that to people. I think that the community, in terms of law enforcement, prosecutors, they're bullshitting you when they say, we don't want to put a family through that. No. They don't want to pay for it, number one, and they don't want to... You should look it up. You should see, I mean, why don't you want this to go to trial? Why don't you want to find the truth? Why don't you want true justice? I mean, what if during doing an investigation, what if someone says, oh yeah, I just did it. Sure. But yet there was like 4 other people. And now those 4 other people that we didn't do anything to, this happens again. Maybe not the same way, but anytime you're messing with a child, even if it doesn't result in death, you're ruining the rest of their lives. So, so I think, and I hope that this goes all the way to trial, because I know for me, I'd want to know what happened, and I'd want everybody involved to never see never be able to do what they did, never be able to have the opportunity to do that. Period. Let's see. Floyd, I've started to question whether they have DNA evidence or not based on the fact that no person has been ruled out as a suspect. Interesting comment there. So again, that was, I've started to question whether they have DNA evidence or not based on the fact that no person has been ruled out as a suspect. Yeah. I just think that it was to bide time. I will be shocked if by November 22nd that this is not unsealed. So, yes, I agree. Appropriate to investigate the family, but not unnecessary to share. Yep, I agree completely. Yeah, I think that when you investigate, so going back to like everybody wanting to like, okay, the family this, the family that, you guys, I mean, do I think that people would have kept their mouth shut and lied? That had no involvement with anything that happened in the homicides, but they were like pushing, I don't know, 40 pounds of this and, 100 grams of this. And yeah, I'm not gonna, where were you? Sleeping. Like, so, well, no, you weren't. Right? Oh my God, you're lying during the homicide. We're going to take you in. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you that I was selling, I don't know, enough to get me 20 years. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's, I think people miss that boat. So that's why people lie. It's not because they did it. They're lying because they're not even thinking about that. They're thinking about what they did. What they did that day. Oh God, I can't tell you what I did that day. I know people go back and forth about the Ron Logan being involved. I want to read you guys something. Hold on one second. When I hear someone yelling at a kid, I gotta stop. Oh my gosh. The bus driver's going ham on people out there. Sorry. Never a dull moment over here, man. Again, sorry about that, chat. He runs a tight ship, man. I thought I recognized his voice, but I wasn't sure. That was our bus driver from the was it middle school? Oh man, he doesn't put up with anything. You're not gonna talk to each other like that. I'm stopping this bus. Tommy, you do this and you do that. I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, go get him, Chris. He's funny. Well, the drug game doesn't eat you alive if you're protected. Idiots can run the drug game. Idiots can be your mules if you're protected. That's just fact. If you're being protected by, law enforcement. So in terms of the drug game, I mean, the drug game's everywhere. I think when you do stupid stuff like trying to sell drugs to kids and other things coming from it, violence and stuff like that. But if you're protected, idiots can most certainly run your stuff. Again, that's just my opinion. Hello to chat there. No one is yelling here. I think it's nap time. Oh, no one's yelling out here. It was the bus driver, man. He's like, I love him. He doesn't put up with anything. Yeah, don't. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was cooking meth in RL's shed that day, but don't charge me, please. Yeah, stuff like that, And it's not even that it had to be like right there. So I think that's what makes it complex. It's a portion of it is, okay, this person didn't have anything to do with that part of it. But they're doing other things. And then they think, okay, here, start telling us what you know, and we'll let you. And they're like, I don't know anything about that, though. Clearly, I was doing this. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the type of stuff that will start happening. Also, think about it. You think that Carroll County is in a position to handle such a heinous, awful. Curious, save me some minutes on this. Does anybody in chat here know who found the bodies? Was it law enforcement or was it a search party goer? Lana, it's Jay's birthday, by the way. Thank you for that. Because I know they were trying to keep some names under wraps. I don't blame them. I should have texted that. Happy birthday, Jay. Yeah, search party. Okay. Because the reason I ask is I was listening to the scanners and trying to pin down some like time frames. That's why I asked. The search party searched the day before. Yeah, they searched the day before. They searched until, it was, I want to say around like 1 in the morning. And then they picked things back up. And that's why I think people are like, oh, do you think that they were, taken and then put back over there? No, I don't. I don't. I think that it was almost a mile away from the bridge. When you're not running a mile, walking a mile is a long distance. So no, I don't think that they were placed there later. I do know that with the charges, because remember how this would look is it'd be like they were abducted first, because they didn't just like find 2 dead bodies right when the dad was supposed to be there to pick them up, and they were right there. Like, no. So it would be like they were kidnapped / abducted, missing people, and then found, and then obviously, okay, they were murdered. So I'm praying that that's just the case for Wyatt is the the Section 2 of Indiana's statute for murder. It's when you commit a felony with it. So, which there's a bunch of different things. So I was hoping it's because of that. That was a question that came up through emails. So I don't normally do this, but I was for 3 hours last night. Imagine that. I was thinking to myself, like, if you were Abby and Libby and you're on the bridge, and the bridge guy, that's the guy that they're saying is Alan, and they're saying was charged with 2 counts of murder. So I've always said, if you pull a gun right on them or do something right away, I think that your reaction is going to get a scream. Because what kid isn't going to be... I mean, that's just a natural reaction of someone, oh my God, like someone pulls a gun on you. I mean, you're just... especially a girl that age. So they're communicating with Anthony Schatz through Libby's phone, right? If the bridge guy says, hey, are you Libby? Or whatever name she was using, let's say maybe she wasn't even using her real name. They would not be scared or nervous if somebody's saying, oh, I'm supposed to meet you, or you're talking to Anthony, right? He told me to come over here and grab you guys. And then they're like, well, what? Huh? Well, how would I know this if I'm not with Anthony? Like, how would I know that you guys are here for that? So is that enough to say to a kid that's really excited to see this hot dude? And you guys, there's nothing like wrong with that. You're hearing people talk about, oh, this is going to come out that Libby did something or did this or that. She's being a kid. Kids are, think about when you were a kid. And think about a situation that you maybe got yourself into. You're like, oh my God, that could have turned really, really bad. Because now you see like what's possible. This is no different. And I believe that you're going to be able to find a time that would have happened in your life. But if the bridge guy says, if Libby says, well, yeah, where is he? Well, yeah, he had me come over here and they're setting up to do, they're doing photo shoots or whatever his going to be line is. But I think for me, if somebody knew that I was communicating with this app or with this person and they said that name, especially if the Anthony Schatz account said something like, oh, he's going to come grab you. Now, do I know that happened? No. But I'm saying what would and how would that fly with a kid? Would they go? And I think that the one thing that would sell it to a kid would be, how would I know about Anthony Schatz? Like, how would I know that you're talking to him right now? Unless he told me to come over here and tell you guys to come. You know what I mean? Or you guys don't have to go. And then that's down the hill or that way. Yep, keep going down. Yep, now go to the left. You know what I mean? Or just, think about that. So that whole, like, down the hill. And then all the audio that they're not releasing for a reason. And I think it's for an MO. I think it's because if they believe that this is happening, we don't want to put out what they're saying to kids because, like, we're going to be giving away what they're doing, so they're going to have to change their way, and we don't want to do that. That's plausible to me, what law enforcement, why they would hide that. So I think that, now picture this, what if, like, you know the person? They would even trust them more. Especially if they were to say like, oh, I know so-and-so. But if it was supposed to be a big secret and you're not supposed to, oh my God, my dad would kill me if they knew that I was doing this or whatever. But I think for me, a selling point would be like, well, how would I know that you're meeting up with Anthony? How would I know you're meeting up with Anthony? Just like, how would I even be able to say that unless I'm here with Anthony? How would I even know that? And I think that right there, to me as a kid, because I definitely was no dummy when I was a kid, but I'd been like, okay, especially if it was, we're going down there for such and such a reason, which would make sense. Like he's here on business. He's doing photo shoots. Like, yeah, they're doing shit like, shots by the creek or something. He's, I don't know. He's only wearing a jacket with no shirt because he's showing off his muscles, whatever it may be. But I think that would be enough in order to have two people and be able to control them and not have to use a weapon. Okay. Control them and, go, you're going down there, and then you get to that point where I want to know how far her shoe was found and where her phone was found. Again, this is allegedly, where these items were, because that's when I believe it would kick in to a kid, like, how far are we walking to go? Well, where is he? Like, or when you're messaging, if you messaged him, oh yeah, hey, so-and-so got us. Again, you got to think about, this is Delphi. This is not, downtown Orlando, and this is your hometown. You're not thinking that anything like this is going to happen to you. So, why won't they release the whole footage of the bridge guy? That's why. I don't think they're going to release the whole footage. I guess there's 43 more seconds, but I'm thinking that they're not releasing that because of what was being said in terms of, if that gets out there, then they may change how they're going to lure people, which if we're going to catch this guy, we need someone to come forward and say like, okay, what did he say to you? Things like that. They don't want to play their hand because they're, again, this is someone's MO. Too trusting, they went there in the first place. Yeah, but if they go there all the time, the thing I feel about too trusting, you're going there, to hang out, and yes, you're messaging with somebody. Oh my God, he really messaged me back. Now let's think about what Keegan said. And he said, oh, like, no, I would never meet up with them. But would you act like it? So I want to know, was that the first time, or were they scheduled to meet up a different time, and I could see him saying things like, well, let me see what you got. And then, okay, all right, I'll meet up with you. Like stuff like that to get what he wants out of it, which is he's not meeting anybody. He just wants the material, Again, I'm trying to be when I'm being vague, I don't want to be, you guys hopefully will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that if you want to be able to, I think the big thing is for me is, how do you control the two people? Make sure that no one's screaming. And then also, what about like when this is happening? But that's why you have to go at least as far as they did. You guys, that's a far walk. It's a far walk. It's a far walk to say, and then where the phone was found, I think it's because she was like, well, I'm going to message him, or I feel like she took her phone out to message somebody. after that point. And I believe it would probably be, him or at least somebody. And that's why the phone was found, I believe, possibly where the shoe was. But I would love to know where that shoe was found in terms of a map, to see how far it was from the bridge to that point of the shoe, and then from that point of the shoe to where the crime scene ended up being. Yeah, so that was what I was saying in my head, where you're talking about. I think it would be believable for me when you'd be able to kind of sell me on that at 13, 14, to say, well, you're not Anthony. Like, I'm just gonna message him. Well, go ahead and message him. How would I even know that you're waiting to meet Anthony? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I would say it, and I'd be like, all right, well, if you guys aren't coming, I mean, I'm going. Okay, no, we're coming. I think that would be a selling point. Also, they've never released any of the exchanges in terms of what was said between the accounts. So that, to me, once I know and once I get to hear that, I'll be able to know exactly how that all transpired. The account allegedly started 6 months prior to the homicides. How did he find, Libby's account? And so I'm going to give you a scenario. So check this out. So I have my family, we're really close. And my cousin, she had her kid, like, same type of thing at 21. And, she's a year younger than me. So her son right now is in high school, junior. And whereas, like, my son's 6, you know what I'm saying? So, but when I would go over to the house, I'll see Cam on, obviously his phone. Oh, let me see this, like, stuff that you're doing. Like, we would do, like, Snapchat with all the different faces and take faces and whatever. But you're, like, asking, questions. At least I know I was with Cam, and just like, oh, what's your Snapchat? And, oh, like, who's all on there and stuff like that. So that, to me, that type of interaction about your Snap, you're doing that with everybody. You're trying to get your streak down. Like, oh, me and this person snap every day, so we're at streak 113 days. And that's when you send a snap, an actual snap, not a picture. You have to snap yourself, and the other person has to send one back, and that's your streak. But these kids these days, you're telling people about that, and you're telling people who you're messaging with. So think about it in terms of, depending on when that started, the messaging with, the shots account or whatever. There was other people that allegedly were messaging with this account, and for being such a small town, you would talk. So for people to overhear, and then you got the kids that tell their parents everything. So in terms of Anthony's shots being overheard, it wouldn't just be from Keegan's end. It would be from whoever Libby's friends with, then the parents, because, kids' parents, you got some kids' parents that are monitoring their stuff, the other kids that aren't. I want to see who your friends list is. I want to see this. I want to see that. All those type of things. So you can't rule out how Bridge Guy would know that they would be there. There's multiple avenues, and it would not just be Keegan Klein. I think everybody should realize how quickly the FBI was on it and able to be at that residence on February 25th from this happening and then being found the 14th, so 9 days. No, I'm sorry, 11 days. And they went to Vegas. Then came back. The day they came back from Vegas, boom, popped. So they were on it. But many avenues. And if you think about it, if Libby has close relationships with her uncle or with other cousins, and these people are a little bit older. Same thing with Abby. If Abby has, cool relationships with, because her mom has, her stepsister and her stepbrother, and, they're hanging out, and then they oversee and hear, Abby talking about this. Oh, yeah, no. Well, this guy's messaging Libby because, that relationship that you have when you have that, you think that that's your cool aunt or your cool cousin. That's the type of things where people loose lips, like, oh, I can tell them this because they're not going to scold me. And it's not like either one of them would be telling anybody to tattle. It's because they know they're not going to get in trouble for saying it. So they'll say it to certain people. And, and I don't think it would be a coincidence that they had off school Friday and they had off school Monday. And anybody living in Delphi would know that. Yeah. I think that them moving into the same street in 2006, what do you start doing when you move into a house? This goes back to the Cody Patty and Richard Allen, 2006, same street, moving it right around the same time. Obviously Richard Allen still lived there today, but Cody had moved on, but his friends still lived there. So there would still be a reason to go over there because your friends stayed there. So with that said, what do new neighbors do when people move in? Like, oh, hey, I'm so-and-so or whatever, like, coming over. Oh, hey, can I help? Like, if neighbors are like that, and they normally are in small towns, oh, hey, you want a beer? I mean, I do that with my neighbors all the time. Like, oh, hey, we're cooking out. You want to come over, bring the kids over, whatever. Also, is there a chance that, Richard Allen's daughter babysat for, Cody and Libby's dad, they hung out. Oh, hey, well, my neighbor has a daughter. She's, like, we can see if she can babysit. Are all of those things possible? And the answer is yes. Are all of those things normal? Yes. Do I think that Richard Allen stalked Libby since 2006? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying crossing past the point that you have at least an acquaintanceship with them, to be like, that Cody Patty could have been like, hey, and introducing him to his, circle of friends. Or even like the people that Cody Patty lived with there. But we want to talk about Richard Allen and the connection of, was this targeted? Is he a serial killer? All these things. How do you just decide one day when you're 50 years old, well, at the time, 45, 44, that you're going to just go for a walk in the park in the middle of the day, see two girls and be like, oh, you know what? Down the hill. And I always carry my knife because I'm a fisherman or whatever, and I'm just going to go, like, just wow. Like, and I'm not going to get caught, and this is going to go on until some fluke thing happens that I get caught off a fluke. No. And I want everybody to know that Alan's daughter, same age as Keegan Klein. They're both 28 years old. So, same age. Lady, I sit true. TK buried a cat alive and killed it when it dug itself out. What? Oh yeah, you guys can throw up some likes there. If it is true they were stage imposed when deceased, that is another level of sick. Yeah. Thank you there. Something else I wanted to point out that I think is really interesting. In 2020, a lot of moves happened in Delphi. A lot of people moving residence, a lot of people selling property. And again, this could just be from, like I said, it's family, family and friends, like helping, raise family like their whole entire life. But Richard Allen's brother-in-law's alias name, he's got a lot of them. And when I say alias name, it's any time that you would have used this name in connection with your address, phone number, email address, it could put that type of a connection. If you filled out, like, I don't know, the credit cards, being stupid, and it all ties into the usernames that Keegan Klein was using, or at least that were messaging with him. And these names are usually middle names of people that they know. And this circle of people. They're using the same names. Multiple people. Multiple people are using, like, Allie Mae, Annie Ann, Cheyenne. I mean, Cheyenne 45 traces back to Keegan Klein's best friend and dad. I remember this was like a daddy game. Like, the questions that were asked, Keegan Klein was about dad. Oh, do you think that my dad like stuff like that? And the age of Richard Allen is like that of a dad with younger. It's just, whoo. Now, and like I said, they're using like these usernames that are all similar to the names that were used in the transactions with all these accounts. That's why I think that they can't pin on Keegan. Like sending it. He's sending it to himself. It looks like he's sending it to himself. The other thing that's interesting, the 5 dismissed charges everybody's going crazy about. Guys, I'm sorry, but those are 5 possession charges. There's nothing to go crazy about. The other stuff, like, is... No. I believe those 5 possession charges is because maybe the girls weren't underage of whatever was... They couldn't prove that it was underage. But... There's no deals. It's about what you can prosecute and what you can't. What you can prove and what you can't in court. So I don't believe that right now we're not witnessing that Keegan Klein got a deal and that's why the 5 were dropped. I'm going to look at the chat. Sorry, I wasn't looking at it. Let's see. So going back to 2020 with these residents and everything. A lot of, you know, they say the number one thing to do when you want to bury money is to buy property. That's how you can bury money. You can put whatever name you want on that deed as well, so you can use alias names and stuff like that. And guess who wanted to use an alias name? Remember the guy that's looking through the masked man, and he went to the house of the one person that was at that party? Well, with an alias name, the person that happened to miraculously now owns property in Tallahassee. What? Trexler bought property. I mean, literally all these people bought property. You can't make this up. I'm going to show you guys something. I wasn't going to do this, but fuck it. I mean, screw it. Sorry, didn't mean to cuss. One second, let me pull this up. So, Keegan Klein had a Facebook group, or had a Facebook page, and I'm going to share this screen. And I was looking at the dates that he was posting. All right. Here you go. Again, what is up, chat? What is up, Eagles fan? Oh my God, Octavia, you better heart this. You better heart this, Octavia. You hear me? Bumblebee laying down the law. Here you go, check it out. Okay, so so this is Keegan doing his posing with the girl that when he gave his interview, he said he was dating this Allie girl. Yep. And all the dates come back, like when he's talking, because I really thoroughly went through his stuff. So this was a post that he made June 8th, 2019. Okay. Making sure you guys can see it. Okay. Now this is what Allie did, though. Allie is still friends with Keegan's sister. Okay. But she completely, like, you know, blocked him, did whatever, so all of her stuff would be gone. Now, they took a very similar picture like this back, I think it's actually, all right, so February, so when was this one? Because he gets picked up, remember, and arrested August 2020. So this is March. He puts all this, you know, stuff for his, where he works and stuff like that. No. No, not at all. He put that he is residing in Colorado at the time as well. Let's go, though, to where he does. Okay, January 2020. Okay, January 2020. Remember how I told you, like, everybody starts getting property and doing things and buying stuff? Well, he posts January 2020, and he posts how this house gets flipped, as in, so this is what it looked like. And this is then what it became. And I'm like, what in the actual F? Because, like, whose is this? Who's doing this? Well, you guys can go look up Booney George, okay? Whatever, it's not him, you know, this isn't like Keegan did this or anything like that. He is more or less sharing, you know, this flipping of a house. But what was interesting to me is that it's at the same time that all these people in Delphi or the surrounding areas are literally buying all new places. I mean, this is not his, but you would come across this and be like, why are you sharing this? You know what I mean? Total just odd. But when you look at that bigger picture, well, no, this is what everybody was doing, though. Everybody was buying property. When I say buying, I'm talking like they're getting deeds. Buying. This is just tell you all about, you know, Spotify could be traced. These are all song lyrics. This is like a thing in Delphi, by the way. Let me explain this to you guys. This is kind of important. Everybody in Delphi, don't know why. They all like to rap on their Instagrams. They all like to rap on their Facebook, you know, pages and posts. And so they do lyrics back and forth. And then people like web sleuths come and look at their pages, and then they flip out and say, oh my God, did you see how he said, bro, she was 14. Have you ever heard a Mace song? But these are rap lyrics. Literally, these are rap lyrics. And people could say, oh, well, it would be in poor taste to even write something like that. You're insinuating something. And I don't disagree. And it was kind of like no difference when Frank Atropa wore the fake alibi t-shirt right after the murder of Rachel Del Tondo when he was a suspect. Total, just what are you doing? Move. Like, none of that's funny. Like, your ex-fiance and person that you've known your whole life was blazed with 9 bullets on Mother's Day. So, but what I've noticed, though, is that he does it, and other people do it in Delphi and the surrounding little areas. But you do it if you're in a certain, like, group of people do it. Like, my homies do it. Like, people that I'm friends with would do that. You know, it's not like all of Delphi's doing that, or all of Peru, or all of Mexico, or all of Kokomo. No, it's like, that's like their thing. So in a way, they're kind of giving themselves up of who they hang out with, by the way. But those are rap lyrics. So like when you actually go through this, if you ever want to go through this, when you come across him saying, okay, I finally get the meaning of fighting demons. Late at night, I ain't sleeping. I'm up thinking. I'm a ball all season for last season. Back when I was on the bleachers, they left me needing. I mean, that's a song. Again, I stopped smoking weed a year ago. Maybe I'm less cool now. I don't know. Song. Teachers and everyone else, go to Barlow's today. You know, go get your haircut on. Just random. Just like, again, rap lyrics, October 28th, 2019. October 2019. That's just nothing. Okay. Now this isn't. I love the people that are like promo. Hit me up is HMU. Ha ha ha. Dog, you got 500 views and no followers. F you talking about. Okay. Like, this is him and that girl. Same girl. This is Allie, October 14th, 2019. So he's on the money when he's talking to the law enforcement in that interview in August of 2020. What he's saying, he's given them the right dates. They have their pics there. Totally did not work there. Okay. Now what I want to get to is when he does this. Okay, June 20th. Now this is where he goes, oh, right here. Boom. Now, Washington. I thought it was really interesting where he picked to say that he moved to, because Washington, there's all these ties actually from people going out to Washington that actually, are down the Allen Trail. They moved out there too. Same time. So in one of his interviews, when he's interviewed, he's talking about that he was going to be, you didn't move there yet, so check this out. He talks about it in his interview with, it was his first one. This girl says, you guys move already? Hilarious. And he says, no. LOL, good, scared me for a minute. But I would have been laughing too. Like, who puts that they just moved there? And she's like, oh, you guys moved already? No. But guess what? Once again, people down this, it's like he's almost telling what people are doing in the community. So think about that. Think about, how do I want to say? Wow, you are right. Hiding money by buying property. Oh, yeah. 100%. So check this out. When I saw this, I was like, wait, what? I was like, first of all, he's showing that in 2020, houses being flipped, basically purchasing, doing something with it. That's what a lot of people are doing. It's like he's telling somebody who's watching his page what's going on. Okay. And not necessarily, like, obviously he's not doing it, but other people are, and it's his way of telling on people. And then you get to this, Washington. Okay. And I'm like, well, right after the Delphi murders, the people that are associates of Richard Allen's brother-in-law and sister, like when I say, like, these are like main associates, like the cousins, I don't know if the cousins married or just bros or whatever, same thing, they go to Washington. Then he nails the dates of his relationship. So when law enforcement asked him, now normally guys, yep, it's called dry snitching. Yes. 100%. It is. Now, this guy can't remember stuff in this interrogation, whatever you want to call it. And they keep going back to, okay, wait, when was that relationship? Where did you live? Things like that. And he's like, no, it was May. Yeah, 2019. So, I mean, for a guy to remember that, like, guys don't, and you're making it Facebook official, which everybody knows you're with somebody for way more than your Facebook, or hopefully, Jesus. Let's go. In a domestic partnership. Now, you guys are going to, I have to just tell you, okay, so check this out. Domestic partnership. That is like another way of saying two people. Could it be the same sex? Absolutely, right? Well, when you go down that Allen paper trail, the two people that moved to Washington, I believe possibly are and could be two gay men. And that's this whole thing over here that I talked about earlier. And this has this right here. And that would be the Donald and Jared. And unless they are just roommates for life from... Very interesting. Moving on. Look at this dude. December 25th, Christmas. Feels the need on Christmas to change his and update his profile pic on Christmas. And then, Secrets. Can you see that? See where it said secrets? Right there. I believe that this Facebook account and everything that's being posted is a confidential informant giving information to law enforcement. No doubt about it. Like, after the research that I've done and the dates and the stuff that he's posting at the same time that things are happening in the community with dates, I mean, if you want to say it's a coincidence, I'm going to sit here and tell you that I don't believe it's coincidence. Like, what guy? October 4th, 2018. That's a person with cloth. September 10th, 2018. I miss you. God, it's not getting better. I'm trying when I write the letters. Bridget's helping me, Dad. I'm really glad I met her, because without her, I really couldn't keep my head up. I couldn't get my ass up out of bed and die instead of moving on. But Dad, I'm never gonna leave. Connecting the daddy dots in Delphi. Go back to my first episode and the name of it. Can somebody check on the date of when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard had their first, stuff that went on in London where he lost with the defamation? Oh, listening to these guys talk. Bro, did you watch the podcast? Dude is so insanely smart. It's effing nuts. Keegan. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved how he thought something was wrong with his brain as a kid. When he was thinking, his eyes would dart nonstop, like his brain has to go so fast. Also, all the shit he said about Al was kind of nuts. They're talking about the podcast, International High Life. Yeah, he was like, honestly, as a kid. So you guys know the wording that he was using and how he was talking when he was being interrogated. Yeah, he was like, honestly, as a kid, I thought something was very off about myself. I remember quite well, around 5 or 6, keeping it from my parents because I thought I was insane because my mind never stops. LOL. Mac Miller's a rapper. This is his sister, and she clearly didn't block him or do anything like that with her page. Others did. So proud. Glad I sold off my Tesla shares last week, though. What? Glad I sold off my Tesla shares last week. July 2020. Thank you. Again, these are going to be lyrics. Started off poor with plans to earn more. Again, this is lyrics. So what he did is he was a groupie. He went on tour with, oh God, you guys remember the, I'll go down here again. This is just whack. Okay, going through an old class yearbook. Look at the legend Curtis Clark. Again, out of the blue, why is he posting this? Look at the legend Curtis Clark. Is he tipping somebody off to go look at this person? Is this his way of saying, come meet me, I got your supply? I mean, I'm saying that you look at this most randomest crap on here, but it's not random. It actually means something, I do believe. But I want to get to the one thing that he writes where he starts going on tours. Had 2 seizures in 2 days. Had 2 seizures in 2 days. There's the Jeep. Who's got the keys to the Jeep? Me, and Timothy. That's a song lyric. August 19th, 2018, Kokomo Roadhouse. He never checks in, very rarely to places. It's a Jaeger kind of night. So glad to be home. Really glad to see family and friends. Makes me feel like I'm missing something in my life. Anyone know any property for sale outside of Kokomo? Now, go back to what I've been saying. How do you hide money? How do you bury money? You buy property. Why does Indiana have... Oh, God. Hot box pizza. Hot box. What a name. I hate Frontier Airlines. LOL, what the F am I supposed to do with this? And now this is a picture of your little rest that, yes, you get no space. But he wants to put his Rolex in there. I do think it's his hand, by the way. Okay, so something I noticed that was interesting. When he did this flight, this Harry Reid International Airport, okay? This is a way... It's... He always has his posts also like right all around the same dates, and then he doesn't post for a while. August 11th, August 11th, August 8th, August 7th. He says he's at home in a hotel. And now this is where Dirk Hayes, just so you guys know what Dirk Hayes told the police. Dirk Hayes told the police that he was just putting this stuff on his Facebook page, and his quote unquote fat ass wasn't, his fat ass was sitting next to his dad in Kokomo, for the record. That's what Hayes told the police. Okay, this is where we get to this. Now, okay, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this. So here we go. He is attending Vans Warped Tour presented by Journeys. This is one of the last, you guys know that song, Warped Tour? Like, let me just play the beat because it's that priceless. I was looking at this one day and I'm like, what is he doing? I was like, oh my God, what a groupie. So this is what I think of when I think of people like this, what he's trying to do. He's going to ruin one of my songs. Oh, that's not it. Oh, God. If you want to destroy my sweater. So he goes on tour with the Warped Tour. And he claims that he goes to all these places, and well, I thought about it. And I'm going to tell you what they have at these places. He's pushing a bunch of marijuana. So he's sawing, yeah, there you go. If you want to destroy my sweater. So he's pushing, and he has a bunch of weed. And I believe that he was selling these and selling t-shirts. And was basically a groupie. Now, this is one of his pictures, or videos, I should say. And I was like, is he the drummer? Like, is he just on stage with them? Like, what's he doing, right? Or is this like not even his video, But literally, he's going to to place to place to place, and he's checking into these hotels. So I got to thinking, and I'm like, none of the devices, except the one that was totally wiped down, but all these other devices were from like 2015 and 2016. Where's any of these devices that he would have been using? And they're going to say it was that new, it was the 5C, the phone. And that's the one that when he came back from Vegas, and literally they got there and it was right on. And they went through his house, they gathered up all of his devices, but they didn't get the 5C phone. And I said, why? Where was it? How do you not get that? Because that's when he went back home, and then he found it in the microwave. And then he's like, okay, that's when they said, you logged onto it at 9:18, then you deleted a bunch of stuff, then you came back on an app, then you did this, and named all these time stamps, right? Well, and then he decided, okay, I'm going to go turn this in after like deleting stuff. So he kept saying in his interrogation, like, I didn't use that phone. I haven't used that phone since high school. Like, he was basically like, I haven't used that phone. The iPhone 3, the iPhone 4, like, oh my God, like, when would I have used that? He's like, well, the last time it was used was 2015. And I remember the homicide the homicides were 2017. I don't think he's lying when he's saying that I didn't use those. Like, who's using an iPhone 3 or an iPhone 4 at that point? He didn't. Well, you used it. The last one was used was 2015. And he's thinking to himself, what? No, I didn't. That's so old. That's so old. I have Apple products. After 2 years, your Apple products don't even work anymore because they start like, that's what Apple does on purpose. You have to get a new damn phone. But he said he sold his old phones on eBay. He sold his... Well, then how does he have all these devices if he sold his old phones? And then how are they even here? How are they even being confiscated? Like, what's going on? You know? What'd you do with your... Oh, I sold it on eBay. Okay. Sure. I mean, I don't know, did he? Where was that one phone? It comes back. Where's like any of this stuff? All wiped down? Where are there any? I mean, is he? (2020) that would have been a 5C. His iPhone 4 should have all. This is what this should be. All of this. With like 2019, 2020. I left the job. Chick-fil-A. So Milwaukee. Chicago, we out here. MGM Grand Detroit. July 17th, Toronto. Again, he says that he's on this tour. Him and his, this is like their stand, and they sell like t-shirts and stuff. They sell stuff. That's what I take from it. If these are even his pictures. New Jersey. Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Checked into Cherry. Who checks into a city? Like what? Nobody does. Weird. Nobody does. We didn't even think twice about Ubering to Philly to go to Gino's Steak. Not a bad way to spend my day off. Virginia Beach. I said, what does he do? Like, does he pick up the, what do you call it? The equipment? Nashville. Dallas, Texas. See right here? Gummies. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but the drugs won't hurt me. The drugs won't hurt me. Ex-girlfriend keeps calling my phone, but the bitch can't hurt me. Missouri. Denver. God, hate that town. Talk of Denver. Gotta find the fire in Denver. Now, he's talking about the weed, the green. Okay. Just a stack of hundreds, well, or a bunch of ones underneath it, because you could tell that the hundreds are the ones that have the pink tips. The rest of that is ones, tens, or fives, or 10, typical. Overselling it. I mean, he has this. I mean, you think he did this? You think that's his writing? I mean, I don't think that he can. I think that his hand will be shaking to make those lines, but whatever. Oh my God, Lehi, Utah. I about shit when I saw this. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I've kept every device that we've had since 2016. LOL, because of all the... Yeah. I bet you wouldn't keep all your devices if you were involved with stuff like this after just... Oh, my name is Miss YouTuber. My name's Lana. I feel like I'm back at school here. This is my name, and it's on the board. There you go. That's funny. Yeah, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Just wild. Vegas Warped Tour was good this year, but the venue they picked was terrible. Blah, blah. This is a promo video. That's not his video. Just so you guys know that. This is a promo video. That's a promo video. My favorite band and my favorite merch guy. Who takes a picture of somebody? What dude takes another picture of a dude laying like that? Just weird. Told you, t-shirts, gummies, weed. Uh-oh. Darn it, I should have clicked on that. You guys just have to see one of the things here. And then you guys can come back on over to your own time and watch this. But this is just, if you pay attention to the dates, that's all I wanted. I just wanted the dates and to see what was going on in the world of Delphi land. And August 19th, 2018. That's interesting. Warped Tour 2018. Look out. Geno's. I'm going to have to ask Crafton and Kim how Geno's is. Okay, we're getting to where we need to be. He's not in any of these pictures, by the way. San Bernardino International Airport. Say hi to Scott Peterson. Right here. Last few hours at home. So he's trying to claim. When he's saying home, God knows what he's talking about. Like, who puts this on their Facebook page after, you got the cops all down your back after the murders, and this is the stuff you're putting on your Facebook page? Very interesting. June 21st, 2018. I leave tomorrow for California. I'm so pumped. June 19th. So that means he's trying to say that he was leaving on June 20th. But he checks in at the San Bernardino International Airport, and it's not like he left Indianapolis and went to the airport like the other one. That's what he's saying his website sales were for the day. He claims that he's in Vegas June 13th. No better city. So glad to be back in my city. I miss being there, Fat Tuesdays. I love Fat Tuesdays. Calling this place home for the next few days. June 11th. Holy shit. Holy shit. Where's all these mad bitches at? You know what I mean? Like, Rolexes. I don't see any women. Pathetic. So he takes a picture of two guys sitting on, this is where I'm going to be calling home. And the last picture, two dudes looking at their phones. I just want to go to oh, I love trim day. I mean, you guys have to know that he's being monitored. Okay, he's being monitored. His fake life is so well. So he's in this video right here. He's definitely in this video, and bro, you live in the life, yeah. No. This summer is about to be so sick. Come see me for free merch, all tour. Long at the Mutant Red Dog stage. So glad I got this couch. That's a Coke couch. Right there. That's what I would call it. And the best is when he's asked a question on where he got it. He doesn't even know. I found it at a custom furniture store in Vegas. I really like that couch. Where did you get it? I found it at a custom furniture store in Vegas. Oh, I bet you did. Because it's just stupid. But again, you have to think about why he's posting this. I think that's a tip off of a Coke deal. June 2nd, 2018. Again, those are lyrics to a song. Lyrics. New food menu for the week. Weirdo. Happy birthday to myself. May 27th, 2018. By yourself. Sure. Right where you belong. Las Vegas. That's not even a fun pool. Blue Diamond. They have really nice golf around that course, though. The greatest mountain range ever. VIP. Look out. Look out. Here he comes. Sushi. Hundreds. Louis Vuitton. Jesus. Well, I can tell you that you're not eating sushi by the looks of it. But that's just me. Yeah. Does that look like that's what he eats? Just curious. When you got money, you know the chefs 3 hours before open, and I still get meals. Wow. Hit my line. Gas me up. What a weirdo. Delivery life. Just delivering that weed. Oh. Plug talk. I mean, he's saying he's the plug. Timex. Somebody graduated from UNLV. Oh my God. Oh. 2017, updated his cover photo. Started a new job. Oh, there it is. February 13th, 2017, the day of the murders. He says he started a new job at California Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas. Table games dealer. January 1st, 2017, started a new job, CBD saves. The day of the murders, he said he started a new job in Las Vegas. I mean, talk about all these coincidences, right? Anthony shots, day of the murders, he's, December 31st, a year, or just the day before, started a new job at Wynn, Las Vegas. Started a new job at 2016. Lockheed Martin, August 1st, 2016. Started a new job at... Started school at UNLV, guys. White Castle. You think a guy that goes to White Castle in Kokomo during the middle of the day is the same guy that has chefs making him gourmet food? This is June 9th, 2012. This is basically like at the end of school graduation. I think if I did my math right. Yeah. He would have been 18, I think, at that time. Him and his bros, last day of school, let's go to White Castle, man. And that's the first post. Then from June 2012, look at this. June 2012 to April 30th, 2015, everything's deleted. And I just want to make a mention of one thing. You guys can go through that on your own time and, just take it all in. But everything with the officers were asking him about, and those phones and tablets and stuff, they're talking about 2015, 16. One, two, three. And all he left in there was like 3 posts. And then 2017, he has, I think, just 2 posts. technically 3 posts, but they're all just like creating like these jobs. And I will say this, in 2014 and 15, that is when people were out in Arizona and out in Las Vegas. This is all about drugs. It's all about weed. He has no friends. He has like 77 people on social media that he's friends with. Everybody that he's friends with is either family that hasn't blocked him, or people that love drugs, whether it's methamphetamines, whether it's weed, to the point of that you're able to easily find them because they've been arrested. That's not good. So, yeah. But, all right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I usually have to keep around 2 hours, but you guys got the last part of there. But right there, 2017, on the day of the murders, he is, saying that he is starting this job. Now, the thing that I really wanted to ask is, if he had his phone, and it was the 2000 and that was a 5C that he did this. This should trace back to whenever he signed on his Facebook and did this. Did somebody else do it for him? But there's got to be a digital trace back on this post and actually when it was made. Was it made, actually on that day, or was it backdated? You can do that. You can put right now I can go put in that I got married, last Saturday, and it will put down last Saturday. So, thank you. Thank you there, Dolly B. Appreciate that. Octavia. Those of you guys that are members, I am doing a quick members only live. It's just for 30 minutes to do Q&A. The link will be on the community page. That's going to be my new thing with member perks. So right when I get off, I'll be posting a link, and it's just for Q&As for everybody in chat. Got to go to AD. Get on over there. But thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, the mods. Thank you guys for being here. There is a big live set up on Sunday to go over who the judge is on, Keegan's case, as well as if there's any news about who will be prosecuting the case, what they look like in trial, things like that. And then some key points with the timeline of that morning. Lana, did you ever talk about the bodies? I can't see the bodies in the water. So for me, I can't see them. I know other people, it may have possibly logs, whatever. But yeah, go grab a Bud Light, kick out your happy hour, and like I said, 30 minutes for Q&A over. There'll be a link, and it'll be in the community section if you are a member. So wait, where are we going now? Oh, if you're a member, if you go to the community page, so right now, so check this out. Boop, stay put. The link is posted in the community section, and that's where I'll be heading over there right now. Gonna grab a water and maybe like a fireball or something, you know. So see you over there if you are a member. If not, see you guys on Sunday.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation.